纳斯达克上市公司附图的子公司moomoo证券是第一家美股交易零佣金的全球交易平台，可交易美股、A 股和新股。moomoo新加坡推出新的5%固定年化收益奖励活动，将现金贴补到 Cash Plus， 保证5%年化率的固定回报奖励，还能享受10天。每天返现2新币，共20新币，只限活动期间，截止12月20日。马上点击以下链接注册吧。
Hello， 大家好，欢迎回到这个乐学成长空间。那么今天我们又回到了这个行行出状元这个系列。那么如果你是第一次看到这个系列主要也就是我会邀请我身边的朋友，或者是朋友的朋友来跟我们分享一下他们的职业，到底他们的职业是做什么的，有什么前景，还有更重要也就是到底他们赚多少钱。那么今天我第3位嘉宾，也就是邀请到了 Joe。那么我也是其实近几个月才认识到 Joe 了，透过这个玩 paintball 的这个方式认识到 Joe。那么 Joe 目前是在美国的一家医院做医生。那么等下我们就会把接下来的时间来谈一下 Joe 到底是怎样从马来西亚来到美国做医生，然后在美国做医生的一些趣闻啊，还是一些差别啊，来跟大家分享。还有更重要的就是他到底赚多少钱。那么事不宜迟，我就把时间交给 Joe 来跟大家做个自我介绍。但是今天这个视频我们将会以全英文的方式来进行这个访谈，所以 without further ado, I'll pass to you, Joe.
All right, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Joe. I'm a doctor in the U.S. or endocrinologist in the U.S. So to those out there that don't know, I'm a doctor that manages diabetes and hormones. Endocrinologist, yeah. It's probably your first time hearing this word.
Actually, before meeting you, that's the first time I'm hearing that term. What's the term again? Like
endocrinologist.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it here.
Yeah, don't worry. A lot of my patients they couldn't even pronounce it, so yeah, that's fine. And what's funny is sometimes my patient come here and like, what do you do again? Why am I here?
Okay, that's fair. And then Joe, just curious, like just to let all the audience know. So Joe is a Malaysian, is from Kelantan. So
shout out to all the Kelantanis out there. Kita wear Kelantan.
Oh, okay.
Do you know that?
Dude, I don't.
There's Kelantanese accent, Malay accent.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of Kelantan, we say Kelantan.
Galate. Okay.
Yeah.
So Joe, just curious.
Yeah.
Like, most of my friends, they use we came here for education, so we kind of like do the education pathway, and then we stay here for job. Is it the same for you as a doctor, or you choose a completely different pathway to come to the US?
Yeah, I would say compared to the typical Malaysians that come to the US, the medical pathway is a bit different.
Okay.
I did my med school in University of Science Malaysia, USM,
okay.
which is very nice because USM Kelantan, Kota Baru. So that's actually where my hometown is. So I literally walk to
Oh wait, wow.
to my university every day, yeah, and being able to eat home cooked food, yeah.
That's good.
But anyway, so yeah, I did my medical school there for 5 years. Yes, it's been so long. So 5 years of medical school there, and instead of going the typical route of becoming a houseman in Malaysia, I took the USMLE exam, which is the exam for the US medical graduate. And after taking that exam, I passed the exam, and that's how I applied and I got into the US. It's definitely a different way than the common pathway, and yeah, we can talk more about the details if you're interested.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just now you mentioned about the USMLE.
Yeah.
Is it a common, exam, or is a pretty what we call rare route for a doctor? How did you even discover it?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was fortunate. We encountered, when I say we, me and a couple of my colleagues in USM, we encountered our seniors. They did the same pathway.
Okay.
I remember back then, it was in 2012, yeah.
That's pretty
long time ago.
It's been a while, 10 years,
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
10 years.
I remember that, yeah. And I remember seeing, and I think Instagram just came along at that time. And I remember seeing one of my seniors pictures in medical school seniors pictures in New York, and doing clinical electives and all that. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Like how are these people doing it, So I'm very inspired, and fortunately they taught us how to do it as well. And basically just study and take the exams, and it's definitely a hard exam, and you have to pay a lot of money for it. But in the end, it's worth it. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So, but one step back. So you talk about it's an exam that you need to take, you need to study. What is like the passing rate or the acceptance rate for this kind of exam?
That's a good question. Yeah. So I would say this is a pretty tough exam. There are definitely some people that mention that this is probably one of the toughest exam in globally, right?
Okay.
But I think if you really study hard for it, I think you can do it. I think the passing rate is about 50%.
Oh, okay.
Worldwide, yeah, it's pretty good. But the problem is that's only part of the step.
Okay.
Like that, passing the exam, you not only you need to pass, you have to pass with pretty decent score, because basically you have to be on the level of the US graduate or better.
Okay.
In general, for you to get considered for interviews in the US. Yeah.
Got it. So exam is just the first step.
Correct.
So what is like, would you be able to walk us like, other than exam, it sounds like exam is just the first step for it. It sounds like there's more steps to it.
Oh, yeah.
So what kind of other steps there?
Oh yeah, the journey definitely took like about 3 years. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
so after you took three papers that time, I think now it's only 2, but there were definitely 3 papers in the past. So after the exam, you do need to do internship in the US. So you have to apply for any hospitals in the US to do internship, and this is hard to get by, and you have to send a lot of letters.
Okay.
Or emails out to the hospitals to apply for this internship.
Okay.
And you have to come and do it for a few months. And then the aim is not only to get the experience, but you also need to have letters of recommendation from US doctors.
Okay.
Each applicants need at least 3 to 4 letters from US doctors to be recommended to get the training in the US.
Got it. So it sounds like it's exam, then internship. From the internship, you get letter of recommendation.
Yeah.
Then you say there's a training.
Well, by training I meant the specialty training.
Got it,
Right?
okay.
Because we did med school in Malaysia, so technically after you're done with med school, you're a doctor, right? But then if you want to be a specialist, then in the US, that's how you do it. You took those exams and you come to the US, and then after you got the position, it's called training. Because after the training is done, then you're a specialist in the US.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, then would you be able to share maybe like more, maybe personal? I mean, like, so it sounds like, okay, this is a hard pathway. It's not an easy pathway. You need to do a lot of exam, internship, then training. How about you? I mean, like, it sounds easy. I mean, when you talk about it, it sounds easy to you.
Yeah.
So would you be able to share like what was their journey? Is there any like hardship that you encounter, or just now you even mentioned there's like monetary that you need to spend a lot of money upfront?
Yeah, so I think the biggest challenge, and probably one of the many reasons not a lot of people from Malaysia do it, is because the initial money involvement is big. For example, each of these exams probably costs about $1,000 US each.
Okay, and then
estimate, yeah.
And then 3 papers?
3 papers, so probably about $3,000 US.
Okay.
And then you have to factor in flying to the US, plane tickets, and you probably have to come 2 times into the US. And you also have to stay in the US for a couple of months.
Okay.
And places like New York are very expensive.
Very expensive.
Very
yes.
expensive.
Would agree.
Yeah, and then you have to pay the hospitals to get these electives too. And some of these hospitals they want to take advantage of the situation, I would say, and they charge us $2,000 to $3,000 per month for each elective, and you probably need 2 to 4 electives.
Okay.
So as you can see, the money adds up, and probably you will end up spending 10, 20K US dollars.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, for something that you might not get, right? So
That's
so,
true.
so those are the main barriers. Like people are worried that, okay, if I spend all this much money, then if I don't get it, what happened? Yeah.
So I mean, like, it sounds like there's like an initial investment need to be made, and then it might success or might fail. But
Correct.
what about failing? Like, what if they passed the exam, and then they came to US for maybe internship, but they do not get a offer for training. So what is next? Do they just fail from this program and just need to go back wherever they came from, or there's a second chance?
Well, technically you apply every year.
Oh, okay.
You can reapply because the interesting about this process is called matching process.
Okay.
Where they match candidates with certain hospitals, and this match goes every year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you fail this year, you can try to match again the next year. And when I say match, it sounds like matchmaking because it's exactly what it is.
It's like Tinder.
Yeah, it's sort of like Tinder for doctors.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, but basically you go into when you apply, it goes into the a match algorithm, a computer software, where you will rank different hospitals that you're interested in, and the hospital will also rank the candidates they're interested in. And then if you rank the hospital highly, and the hospital rank you highly, and then boom, you match, and then that's how you got a spot.
Yep.
And so meaning that if you fail this year, you can always reapply.
Got it.
Of course, there are certain factors that might make it hard every year, even if you keep applying. For example, if your USMLE test score is low, it's a one-time exam. If you fail, you can retake it, but it's on the record.
Got it.
But if you get a low score, it's there forever. So making it harder to reapply the next year because the score sticks with you. But I've seen people that apply 7-8 years and they finally got in. So yeah, persistence can pay off. Yeah.
I mean, not just doctor, I guess persistence gets you everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like in life you just have to take risks sometimes, right? Nothing good come easy, right? So if there's one advice I would give to younger people, you have to take risks. Reasonable risk though, right?
That's fair. I mean, yeah, risk that you can take.
Correct. Not like the crypto things that happened recently.
Did you take some? No, this is like a other day for this story. But now we know. Okay, so you took risks to to enroll into this program and to come to US. So what actually drives you to want to take this kind of risk with that uncertainty underlying?
Yeah, I guess when I was younger, I feel like I want to see how far I can go, right?
Okay.
And to me, coming to the US is great because you can actually do more as a doctor in the US. The latest advancement in medicine always come from the US first, and then the whole world will follow. Usually that's the trend.
That's fair.
We have one of the newer we have newer medications here. We have better technologies for patient care, and US. I don't know about you, but when I was young, I watched a lot of Hollywood movies. So yeah, yeah, exactly. And you're wondering like how is life there, and then you want to explore, right? So yeah, so I would say that I want to see how far I can go and what I can achieve. Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, that's fair. I guess part of your reason is pretty similar to me.
Exactly.
So you came to US to kind of like see how far I can go, and then as well as taking some risks.
Yeah.
And definitely come with some rewards that we're gonna talk about later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then probably we can jump to our next topic of the day. Just curious, like, so being a doctor in the US, I'm pretty sure since you graduate from USM, you have some friends that's still in Malaysia doing work as a doctor.
Yeah.
There might be differences, right? Would you mind sharing like what is like a few differences that you encounter working as a doctor in US and in Malaysia?
Yeah, I would say the probably the biggest difference is like I've mentioned the first point earlier, that you can definitely do more here because you're better equipped. Hospital has more equipment, more technologies. You have access to like more expensive medications. For example, the diabetes. The most recent diabetes advancement it's pretty great. Like you have insulin pump for diabetes patient that can sense patient's blood sugar and just help control their blood sugar. These technologies will probably come later to Malaysia.
Okay.
And we also have medications that helps patients with diabetes get off insulin.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the first reason, and other reason would be, let's see,
How about the working culture? I mean, like,
Oh, yeah.
is it? Because I mean, in general, doctor
Yeah.
is pretty
Yeah.
busy. I mean, like we watch a lot of like show. You guys kind of like get on call all the time.
Yeah.
Is it similar to you, or because you are like in a different specialty on treating hormones?
Yeah.
Is it the same?
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It depends on specialty, right?
Okay.
Like what kind of specialty you choose. For example, if you're in the surgical specialty, it's going to be busy wherever you're in Malaysia or in the US. But I would say in general, doctors here in the US have better work-life balance.
Okay.
We actually have, for example, when I was training as a specialist, we do have work hour limits. For
Oh
example.
wow, there's a limit. Okay.
Yeah, there's a limit. Like the program actually has to have to comply by a certain limit. They cannot overwork us. For example, you cannot work more than a certain. I believe it was 36 straight hours. You cannot work more than 36 straight hours as a trainee in the US. And I think in Malaysia, there's no limit. like as long as you're breathing, you're alive, then you keep working as a trainee, right?
Fair.
Yeah. So yeah. But of course, in general, people reward hard work here. Like if you work more as a specialist here, you can definitely earn more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like the more hours you put, you actually your reward is like proportional increase.
It's actually exponentially increased.
Exponentially increase. Wow.
Correct,
Yes.
yeah.
So I mean, like that's a
Every
good thing.
hours you work outside of your work hours, you actually
Getting more.
get paid a lot. Yeah.
Okay. How about you then, Joe? I'm just curious, like since like you are treating like hormones,
Yeah.
Diabetes, do you do a 5 work days or is it different from others?
Oh yeah, so I'm an endocrinologist, so we are usually clinical specialty. So meaning we spend more time in the clinics, and I personally work 4 hours a week.
Wait, 4 days a week?
4 days a week, sorry. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is great, I know.
Okay, wow, that's
8 hours.
I envy that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not common. It's not like that common, right? I guess it's a special case.
Correct. Yeah, I heard they are trying to. Younger people are trying to ask for 4 days a week kind of culture recently, but let's see how successful is that. It's hard. It's hard to convince companies to do that. But yeah, I'm lucky.
But you're already there.
I'm yeah. Sure.
Okay, then maybe like sounds like there's like some difference in terms of like working culture. And it sounds like in US, some sort you have like a work-life balance.
Yeah.
Then how about pay? I mean, is there a huge difference, or actually, doctor is considered like well paid across
higher
like
paid specialty.
higher paid specialty, but is it significantly different in US?
Yes, I would say U.S. doctors are paid way more compared to other countries.
Okay.
Probably one of the reasons is because there are not enough doctors in the U.S.
Okay.
So we get paid in U.S. dollars and way more than our other countries' counterpart. So that's nice.
I mean,
of course, the tax is high as well, depending on which states you're living in. But yeah, so we're talking about, for example, as if probably you're going to ask a salary range. Right?
Oh yeah. Thanks for jumping to that.
Yeah, so we're talking about like as general doctors, you probably can earn between 200 to 300 US dollars a year.
Wow. That's like 1.2 million ringgit at least.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Is there any like factors that can drive the salary, or because you say that general doctor around 250 to 300, but any other factors that can drive that?
Yeah. So the surgical specialties usually earn more if the more hands-on things you do. For example, if you're in the surgery field, you can earn even more. I mean, I've known GI doctors actually, not a surgeon, but they do colonoscopy where they put scope
Into holes?
Into holes, yeah.
Okay.
and they can earn up to 500, 600K a year, which is crazy amount of money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know what to do with that much money, but
When
I
you get there,
complain.
when you get there, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Is there like other than like specialty? Is there any other like driving factors?
Yeah, specialties and location, right? If you're willing to work in a rural area where all you see is cows and mountains, snow, flatland, jungle, forest, whatever, then you get paid way more, maybe $100,000 more per year, if you're willing to work in those areas.
So rural area actually pays more because of the demand and supply.
Yes.
There's less demand, less supply there, technically.
Yes, less supply, more demand, right?
That's fair.
Not a lot of doctors are willing to move to smaller areas.
Okay.
Yeah, and let's see, and also if you work in a private center versus an academic center, then the pay can vary as much as 100,000 as well, because usually at the universities, and usually universities are more, a lot of people want to work in the university, so again, supply demand thing. And also university are usually non-profit, so they won't pay you as much. Yeah. So I would say if you want to maximize your profit, then you probably want to work in a surgical specialty, in a rural area, and a non-academic center. Yeah,
that's fair. Okay, now you know. Now you know the tips.
But as you know, doctors, I would, if there's one advice I would give younger doctors, is that you should still choose the specialty based on your interests, not money, right? Because I mean, I'm sure a lot of young doctors know that being a doctor is not the most efficiently economical way to earn money, because you actually study so long.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
by the time you graduated, all your friends are already millionaires. I'm kidding. Already working. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, okay, it sounds like we are kind of like approaching to the end of the interview. I'm just curious, like, is there any advice you would like to give to like maybe the audience is like young doctors, they're interested in coming to the US? Any advice for them?
I would say go for it. You know, it sounds difficult and tough, but actually I've personally known a couple of younger doctors, my juniors, who are very successful. You know, that they I mean, it's weird because of all the people I know so far, I believe all of them got it. Yeah.
Nice.
So from Malaysia is what I meant, and all of them has the same similar traits. They work hard and they're focused on a single goal, and they got it. Yeah. So I think it's very doable compared to other harder things in life. I think this one is definitely very doable.
Okay.
And if you compare it about the condition of doctors in Malaysia these days, I'm sure a lot of Malaysian doctors will agree that it's not very good as a new trainee in Malaysia, because your job prospect is a bit limited. And to parents out there too, doctors are no longer guaranteed, no longer have guaranteed job in Malaysia now. So
because there's too many doctors.
Just too many doctors, yeah, and that is entirely complicated issues that I'm sure a lot of doctors know in Malaysia. But coming into the US is a really good option actually. It's becoming more and more attractive.
I mean, definitely from an economic perspective, as well as like you mentioned, you are doing a lot of like advanced stuff compared to other countries.
And job opportunity, right?
For sure.
It's the demand is high here, so I would say if you can if you like the US culture, then you should come. Yeah.
But how about based on your specialty, you are treating like diabetes, hormones.
Yeah.
Any advice for the audience, like to take care of their health?
Oh yeah. I mean, I do this every day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, if there's only one thing, I would say, well, actually a lot of things, but if there are only one thing that's most important, I think eating less processed food will be the key, and you know, any sugary drinks, because I'm a diabetes doctor and I've seen it myself, like people that drink regular soda pops like Pepsi, for example, or Coca-Cola. Those things are really, really bad for you. Like sugar in its very concentrated form, like in liquid form, it can really, if you have a diabetes gene, it can trigger it easily. Yeah, and we've seen people that when they stop drinking all this stuff, sugary drinks, they are A1C, which is a measure of their diabetes level, actually it reverts to non-diabetic level or to pre-diabetes level, which is not diabetes. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is interesting because we are surrounded by all this stuff every day and we don't even realize it that it's toxic. Yeah.
Okay. So, man, advice from Dr. Joe:
Yeah.
less processed food, less sugar.
Yes.
Okay, once again, Joe, thanks for
thanks.
thanks for your time for like doing this interview. And then for those like young doctors or like parents that are interested in like knowing more about the pathway from Malaysia to US to be a doctor, I'll definitely put Joe information at the description box. So feel free to check it out. And until next time, I'll see you again.
Yeah.